The screech of twisting metal and shattering glass still echoes in my nightmares. One moment I was laughing with my best friend on a rainy Friday night drive home from college, the next everything went black. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, stick around because today's true story might just change how you look at your own family, your own struggles, and the quiet miracles hiding in the hardest days. If this story touches you, please hit that like button and subscribe. We share real-life stories of resilience every week, and your support means the world. Now, let's dive in. My name is Elena, and this is the story of how a single car accident nearly ended my life, and how the words my own parents spoke in that moment became the catalyst for everything changing. I was 21, a junior studying psychology, the kind of girl who believed life was mostly fair if you worked hard enough. I had loving but busy parents. Dad, a stern accountant who showed love through providing, and Mom, a nurse whose shifts left her exhausted but always proud of her strong, independent daughter. We weren't the hug-every-day type of family, but we were solid. Or so I thought. The accident happened on a slick highway curve. My friend Sarah walked away with minor bruises, but I wasn't so lucky. The doctors later said the impact fractured my spine in 2 places, collapsed a lung, and caused severe internal bleeding. I was rushed into emergency surgery, unconscious, fighting for every breath. My parents got the call at 2 a.m. They drove through the storm in silence, hearts pounding, arriving at the hospital just as the surgeon emerged from the operating room, blood still on his scrubs. What happened next shattered me more than the crash ever could. My mom, her face pale and eyes red from crying, turned to the doctor and whispered the words that would haunt me for years. "Call us if she survives." Not, "How is she?" Not, "Can we see her?" Just that cold, conditional sentence. My dad nodded, jaw tight, and they left the hospital without waiting for more updates. They went home, convinced I wasn't going to make it, and started making arrangements, just in case. I later learned they even discussed funeral songs in the car ride back. They were protecting themselves, they said later. But in that moment, it felt like abandonment. I survived the night, barely. I woke up 3 days later in the ICU, tubes everywhere, pain radiating through every nerve. The first thing I asked for was my parents. The nurse hesitated, then gently explained they had gone home but would be back soon. When they finally arrived, the air in the room was thick with awkwardness. Mom hugged me lightly, careful not to disturb the monitors. Dad stood by the window, staring out like he couldn't bear to look at me broken. "We thought we were preparing ourselves," Mom said softly. I nodded, but inside, something cracked deeper than my bones. The road to recovery was brutal. Weeks in the hospital turned into months of rehab. I couldn't walk at first. Physical therapy felt like torture. Learning to move my legs again while battling infections and the constant fear that I might never be normal. Friends visited, but many faded as the months dragged on. My boyfriend at the time broke up with me over the phone, saying he couldn't handle a disabled girlfriend. The loneliness was crushing. Nights were the worst. I'd lie there replaying my parents' words, wondering if their love had always been conditional on me being the perfect, high-achieving daughter who never needed saving. But here's where the story turns, where everything changed. During those long rehab sessions, I met Marcus, my physical therapist. He was in his 30s, a former athlete who had his own spinal injury from a football accident years earlier. He didn't pity me. Instead, he pushed me harder than anyone, sharing his story of rebuilding his life from a wheelchair to running marathons. "Your body can heal," he'd say, "but it's your heart that decides if you walk forward or stay stuck." Slowly, with his encouragement, I took my first shaky steps on parallel bars. Tears streamed down my face, not from pain, but from the raw realization that I was still here. At home, things were strained. My parents had turned my old bedroom into a recovery space, but the emotional distance lingered. Mom would cook my favorite meals, but conversations stayed surface level. Dad buried himself in work. One evening, after a particularly painful therapy session where I fell and screamed in frustration, I broke down at the dinner table. "Why did you say that?" I asked, voice trembling. "Call if she survives," like I was already gone to you. The silence that followed was heavy. Then Mom started crying, really crying, the kind that shakes your whole body. She confessed how terrified they had been. Dad, the man who never showed weakness, admitted he had frozen in fear. "We lost a baby before you, Elena," he said quietly, something I'd never known. When the doctor called, it felt like history repeating. We couldn't face losing you twice. So we ran. In that raw moment, layers of unspoken family pain peeled back. We weren't the perfect unit I had imagined. We were flawed humans carrying old wounds. From there, healing took on a new shape, not just physical, but relational. My parents started attending therapy sessions with me. Dad learned to help with my exercises, his strong accountant hands gently supporting my back as I practiced walking. Mom opened up about her exhausting nursing career and how she had always pushed me to be strong because she regretted not chasing her own dreams. We talked late into nights about regrets, forgiveness, and second chances. I discovered that their call if she survives wasn't rejection, it was terror disguised as practicality. And my survival forced them to confront what truly mattered. Challenges kept coming. There were setbacks. A surgery complication that put me back in bed for weeks. The financial strain of medical bills that forced my parents to downsize parts of their life, and my own dark days battling depression. I questioned everything. My career path, my worth, even if I deserved this second chance. But each time, something shifted. Sarah, my friend from the crash, became a constant support, visiting with silly movies and reminding me of our pre-accident adventures. Marcus not only helped me walk again but became a close friend who showed me that vulnerability could lead to deeper connections. 6 months after the accident, I took my first unassisted steps across the rehab room. My parents were there, cheering louder than anyone. Cheers flowed freely that day. Dad pulled me into a bear hug, the first real one in years, and whispered, "We're so glad we got that call." Everything had changed, not because the accident magically fixed us, but because it stripped away the pretenses. We became a family that said, "I love you," out loud, that checked in emotionally, that showed up even when it was messy. Today, 2 years later, I'm walking without assistance. I'm back in school, pursuing a degree in counseling so I can help others through their own traumas. My relationship with my parents is stronger than ever. We take family hikes now, slow ones where we talk about everything. I've learned that survival isn't just about breathing, it's about choosing to reconnect, to forgive, and to grow from the broken pieces. If you're watching this and going through your own accident, whether it's physical, emotional, or a family rupture, know this: the darkest moments can become turning points. Your pain doesn't define you, how you rise from it does. Don't wait for a crisis to say the important words. Reach out, forgive, show up. Life is fragile, but love, when truly expressed, is unbreakable. Thank you for watching this emotional journey with me. If it moved you, inspired you, or made you want to hug your loved ones tighter, please smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Share this in the comments. Have you or someone you love overcome something that changed your family forever? Let's support each other down below. Until next time, keep fighting, keep healing, and remember, you're stronger than you think. Take care.